Skylark Outdoors here, and today we've got a treat for you. We're going to be showing you what it's like to ski Aspen Snowmass. Right now we're at the top of the Elk Camp Lift at Snowmass in Colorado, and you can see the beautiful 360-degree view. From this lift, we're actually going to go down Gunner's View Run, but there's a wide variety of trails you can go down from the Elk Camp Lift, and the Gunner's Run is a blue or intermediate trail run, and we're going to then take Adams Avenue down to the Alpine Springs Lift. Now, this was my first time ever at Aspen Snowmass, and it was spectacular. This is later in March, probably the last week of March 2025, and the snow was great. They had just gotten fresh snow, maybe an inch or two, but kept getting an inch or two of snow every day before I got there and when I got there. So if you've never been to Aspen Snowmass, it's a little bit further away from Denver than some of the other ski resorts you might be familiar with in that front range like Breckenridge. But Aspen Snowmass is giant, and it's actually part of 4 different resorts that are located in Aspen. So you've got Aspen Snowmass, Aspen Buttermilk, Aspen Highlands, and Aspen Mountain. But Aspen Snowmass is the largest of the 4 of them, and you can see this is just beautiful snow and beautiful views. And I love this Gunner's View run from the top of the Elk Camp Gondola because it's just wide and you have so much space to explore. You've got some trees here or there, but they're very wide, spaced apart. And you can see this is on a weekday. There is pretty much no one here at the end of March. So Aspen Snowmass has a huge amount of vertical feet drop. You've got 4,406 feet of vertical at Aspen Snowmass. It's 3,342 acres of trails, 98 trails, 21 lifts, and your base elevation is 8,604, and your peak elevation is 12,510 feet, and your longest run is an extensive 5.3 miles, which just is incredible and gives you nice long runs. You can take your time down, or if you want to shred and get down there as fast as possible, you can absolutely do that as well. Now, this being my first time at Aspen Snowmass, I explored as much of the mountain as I could. You've got lots of advanced terrain, plenty of intermediate terrain, and plenty of beginner terrain as well. My recommendation is if you are a beginner or intermediate skier, still take a lift up to the top where you've got better snow just because of the elevation. You can take the gondola up, and because it's going to be colder up there, you're going to have more snow and typically fresher snow. Obviously, ask where those beginner trails are. But if you take something like the Elk Camp Gondola up and then take the Elk Camp Lift all the way up to the top, you're going to be, if you're an intermediate skier, you're going to have plenty to ski, and you've got a lot of similar runs just like this that are very open and pretty mellow and just great skiing and really fun runs to go on. They can definitely challenge you if you want, but for the most part are very solid, intermediate, fun runs to have an excellent time on, which is what this is. So this is that Gunner's View run at Aspen Snowmass, but I do recommend when you go to Aspen Snowmass, you go up as high as you can possible for the terrain that you're looking for, just because you're going to have better snow the higher up the mountain you go. And you can see over here to the right, that is the Elk Camp Lift that we took all the way to the top where this run Gunner's View started. You can also see just beautiful scenery out here at Aspen Snowmass. Now, Aspen Snowmass is actually a couple miles away from Aspen, the town. The other 3 ski resorts are kind of all right there in town. Buttermilk, Aspen Highlands, and Aspen Mountain, to where you could pretty much get on a lift from the town and go to those. Here, you've got to take a shuttle over to Aspen Snowmass if you're staying in Aspen, or you could just stay right in Aspen Snowmass or right around there, and you're going to be able to then get right on a lift if you're at the base of Aspen Snowmass. But it is a couple miles away from Aspen, so you would need to take an Uber, drive a car, or there's plenty of public transportation between Aspen Snowmass and Aspen the town. Overall, Aspen Snowmass also has plenty of places to eat on the mountain. What we just passed by there, that was actually like the Elk Camp Lodge and restaurant. So they've got plenty of food there. And then when you're exploring Snowmass, which I highly recommend doing, you're going to find there's a lot of little lodges and restaurants, and they definitely have a very fun après scene at Aspen. I think that's one of the things that's coolest about Aspen or Aspen Snowmass is that people like to have a good time after skiing, and you can definitely find that pretty much anywhere on the mountain, especially in the busier times of the year. So right now we've completed the Gunner's View run. We passed the Elk Camp Gondola drop-off and then the Elk Camp Lift, which goes to the top, and now we are on Adams Avenue, and we're just taking this down to another lift right above us. That's the Elk Camp Gondola that goes basically from the base all the way up to that Elk Camp restaurant. And what's actually really cool, at the Elk Camp restaurant, there's a alpine slide on rails, or alpine roller coaster on rails. So if you're not a skier and you wanted to go to that alpine roller coaster, you can do that by taking that gondola up and then going on the roller coaster. But the skiing is excellent, so that's how I would recommend to get there, is ski up and down, and you could always do the roller coaster for fun. But right now we're on Adams Avenue down to the Alpine Springs Lift. This is kind of a little bit of a flat area here. And then eventually we're going to get to the Alpine Springs Lift and just kind of continue on our day. Overall, Aspen was beautiful, great skiing, so much varied terrain. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or expert, you're going to have a good time. And the great thing about Aspen as well is maybe you don't have skiers in your group. There's a lot of other stuff for non-skiers to do, like that roller coaster. They've got some ice skating down at the base area, plenty of shops, plenty of restaurants, and then the town of Aspen, you can obviously go in there, and all kinds of stuff to do in Aspen itself. Overall, met a lot of cool people, some people that have lived out in Aspen a long time, and some people that just come there every year, and very hospitable mountain. And as you can see, look how empty it is on a weekday here in March. You've got plenty of mountain to yourself. There's a couple choke points here and there where people are traversing the mountain trying to get to certain lifts, but for the most part, this is how it was skiing Aspen most of the time. It never felt too crowded. It felt like you have plenty of places to ski, and just really fun skiing. You can see how wide open a lot of this terrain is, where I met a lot of people who'd been skiing here for a lot of years, and that's one of the things they said they really liked about it. It never feels too crowded because it's a little bit further away from the crowds that are coming from Denver or the Front Range, and then also just the variety of terrain, where if you just want to have a mellow day on some intermediate terrain, you can absolutely do that. Get some beautiful views, not feel too pressured. But if you want to send it and shred on some harder terrain and challenge yourself, there definitely is plenty of that as well. And you're going to find plenty of blues and challenging blacks and double blacks if you want to do that. So thanks for watching this video on skiing Aspen Snowmass, the Gunner's View run, or the Aspen Snowmass Elk Camp Lift, and what it's like at the top of the Aspen Snowmass Hill. We'll see you next time, and if you want to support us, subscribe, click any links below, and thank you for watching.